Hey you guys, it's CATALEAH. In this video, we're going to talk more about sugar gliders! Wait a second. That's better. So to start out, we're going to talk about why it is important and absolutely necessary to keep gliders in pairs or colonies. This here is Maribel. She's one of my 3 gliders and she just woke up, so she wants to go back to bed. So this video is going to have a lot of information in it. This video is also going to show graphic photos of gliders who have suffered the consequences of being kept alone. Please be aware if you're sensitive to graphic images like these. They're hard to see, but absolutely necessary to understanding the importance of companionship between gliders. Anyways, so here's some basic information on these adorable, strong-willed animals. Sugar gliders are native to Tasmania, Indonesia, Australia, and Papua New Guinea. Their descriptive name comes from a love of sweet things and a membrane that allows them to glide. They are marsupial, which means the mother raises them in a pouch. Sugar gliders are highly social animals, even in the realm of marsupials. They tend to live in large colonies with one dominant male, plus the current season's young, which they leave whenever they're able to, all sharing a nest and defending their territory together as a family. Also, although sugar gliders are considered an exotic, they're technically domesticated because they're many generations removed from their wild Australian counterparts, and because of this, they wouldn't just survive in the wild. The rules of biology describe the process of domestication as taming an animal, essentially by generations of breeding, in order to live in close association with humans as a pet or a working animal. And domesticated animals cannot survive in the wild like their wild counterparts can. The standard traits for domestication are as follows: smaller bodies, different colored coats, floppier ears, larger eyes, more frequent genetic defects, and the list goes on. But this is not to say that they aren't incredibly instinctual as their wild counterparts are, and although they're not the same exactly as their wild brothers and sisters living in all these different countries, they've shown us time and time again that they not only want to be with other members of their own species, but they require it. This is something that has not and probably will not ever be bred out of them. Not that we should want to. 2 gliders is better than 1 in my opinion. Because gliders are colony animals, no matter how much time you spend with them, it will never be enough and it will never compare to the companionship that they could have with a member of their own species. So, since we know that gliders need to be kept in pairs, but they are also in captivity and they are in cages so they can't actually get away from each other, there are a number of precautions that we should take to ensure the health and safety of our sugar gliders. Number 1. All males in the cage should be neutered unless you are breeding them. If you are breeding, make sure you have lineage to prevent inbreeding, neurological deformities, and genetic defects in the joeys. And joey also means baby marsupial, by the way, or baby sugar glider. Also, I'm going to be making a separate video all about that, so watch for that. Female pairs are usually the easiest to do, but you can keep males with any other sex of glider if the males are neutered. Most exotic vets can neuter a sugar glider. It's pretty straightforward, but females are too small and delicate to be spayed, so they don't do that. If a male glider is kept alone and not neutered, then he is absolutely 100 times more likely to start self-mutilating, being depressed, and overall just not doing good. This is because the loneliness is magnified for his intense need to procreate and defend his territory and his females, but he wouldn't have any. So, number 2. Although they need each other like a family does, sometimes they will bicker and argue. It just happens. And usually it's over food or space. So to help prevent unneeded stress, it is recommended to have a large flight cage with many feeding and sleeping spots so they can get away from each other if they need to. I mean, you love your family, right? You love your brothers and sisters, you love your mom, your dad, but sometimes you want to have a little alone time. Everybody needs alone time. Gliders do too. Number 3. There's definitely a process to introducing sugar gliders. I will link in the description some sources that can help you with this, and eventually I'll also be making a video all about how to introduce sugar gliders to each other. They are by nature a defensive animal, so they feel the need to protect themselves and their family very strongly. So introducing 2 gliders is a process that requires a lot of steps if you want to do it carefully and safely. Never, ever just throw 2 gliders together without taking the proper steps ahead of time to make sure that they don't kill each other. Next, I'm going to show you guys some gliders that have suffered because of being kept alone. These pictures are hard to see, but all of these gliders have different stories, different backgrounds, and came from different places. Some of these gliders I rescued myself. I've been rescuing gliders for over 2 years now, and I have a whole video on how I rescue sugar gliders. Bizoo. I have a video all about rescuing gliders, so I will link that in the description as well, or it'll be at the top of the screen here now if you want to watch that. In some of these pictures, you'll notice that the gliders are missing fur. Gliders will often overgroom themselves, which is basically a form of self-mutilation when they are alone and overcome with loneliness and depressed. And their health quickly declines once they start becoming depressed. This glider has an overgroomed tail. It was kept alone for a long time and started over-cleaning itself. Basically, it cleaned all of the hair off of its tail. There are a lot of studies that have been done on why gliders do this, but they're not the only mammals in the animal kingdom to self-mutilate whenever they're feeling alone and depressed. So this is just one of the many ways gliders can hurt themselves if they feel depressed and they're kept alone for too long. So this next glider, it was one of the hardest rescues that I've ever had to deal with. So this girl was really sad. She messaged me and said, "Hey, my glider is literally ripping its stomach out because I believe I've been taking care of it wrong." And I asked her all the questions, you know, how she's been caring for it. She said she's been alone for 5 years. So she was an older glider, and she started to eat away at her pouch on her stomach. It got infected. This girl, she was very sweet. She just didn't do her research like she should have, and the glider suffered because of it. And I took her to the vet immediately when she gave her to me. Yeah, she ended up passing away in my arms. It was very sad. The vet and I, we did all we could, but it just wasn't enough. Zuri was actually, I think, one of the first 3 gliders that I rescued, so because of her, I've continued to rescue gliders and do everything that I can to help them and educate people about them, which is also why I don't recommend buying them from like Pocket Pets or pet stores or flea markets or even reptile expos. I just wouldn't do it, and I have a whole video all about that too, which will be at the top of the screen right now if you want to watch that one. And also, Zuri was played with every single day. She carried around in a pouch constantly. She took her out and played with her for hours, but it just wasn't enough, and she should have seen that it wasn't enough before it got this bad. So they actually do depression studies on gliders in England, and I will link that in the description as well. So if you're interested on the science behind it or learning more about why this happens, then I will link the studies in the description, and it's a really good read. So okay, so because sugar gliders are so cute, I mean, just look at it. Actually, this is a flying squirrel stuffed animal, but that's all I had, so I'm sorry. People who want to make a quick dollar breed them in mass, and they lie about the importance of their need to colonize with members of their own species. These male breeders will also breed them and sell them without lineage, which leads to neurological and physical deformities, and sometimes the neurological ones come later in life, so you don't expect it, and your glider just starts having seizures all of a sudden. And typically, gliders that are bred at mills have short lives. If you want to get your own gliders, I would recommend going through a small reputable breeder or a reputable rescue. A rescue that rescues them the right way, because there is a right way to do it. And those rescues and some breeders will be in the description. Also, I have a whole page on my website dedicated to sugar glider care. Go to CATALEAH.com/sugargliders and check that out. I'm going to be adding more to it regularly. Another thing is, because male breeders don't really care who their gliders go to, they will usually sell them to anyone, and they'll make their care seem really, really simple and easy when in fact it's not at all. They will often tell the potential buyer that you can keep them individually, which is not a good idea, as we've covered so far in this video. And they won't neuter their males usually, and they'll kind of just sell them unneutered without lineage. I mean, some of them do neuter them, but then they'll also sell the unneutered males and they don't have lineage on them, so yeah. And as you can imagine, this causes a lot of problems. If you see a male breeder selling gliders, I would just politely recommend to the people that are interested in the gliders the proper way to care for them and the importance of buying through a reputable breeder, as to not support the male breeding industry and to not fuel the sale of unhealthy gliders. I also once confronted a male breeder at a flea market. That went well. If you want to see that video, that will be in the description or on the screen right now. So, to recap, gliders absolutely need the companionship of other sugar gliders. No matter how much time you spend with them, they'll still need each other. Male gliders still need to be neutered unless you're breeding them with lineage. And if you want more glider info, all of my past glider videos will be on my website. Again, CATALEAH.com/sugargliders. Thanks for watching, you guys. I actually do breed gliders with Lineage too. Sometimes I have them available, like this little guy. He needs a home. Look forward to some more sugar glider videos, and also catch me at the Tinley NARBC Reptile Expo in Tinley, Illinois, March 16th and 17th. Alright, see you guys in my next video. Bye! Do you look anything like that stuffed animal up there? Nope. What do you think? No, that's totally a flying squirrel. Totally a flying squirrel. What do you think?